Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by DocCity in partnership with the University of Manchester. My name is Carolina, nice to meet you all, and I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of DocCity. I see here that the first people are already starting to join in. We are going to wait a few minutes before starting to allow everyone to connect. And in the meantime, feel free to say hi in our chat here in Zoom, and please tell us where you're from, since we are very curious. Okay, first of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us and thank our panelists for being here with us today. I want to introduce you all to Amy Chapman, the Students Recruitment Responsible in Marketing Office. Welcome, it's a pleasure to have you here. And together with her, you're going to discover the wide range of career paths in crisis management and response and how you can make a real impact in this field. You're also going to get insights into the specialized programs that will prepare you to lead and respond effectively in critical situations. Another important thing to know that you'll also have the possibility to interact with our speaker and ask her questions. And talking about that, I'd like to remind you that after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you'll be able to ask direct questions to the panelists. So don't be shy and just type all of your questions in the Q&A section here in Zoom, and we'll go through them at the end of the webinar. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by DocCity for this free masterclass, stay tuned because we will post a link to get the certificate at the end of the session. Okay, I see some other participants connecting, and I think that we can start now. Welcome again to those who just joined us. And without further ado, I'm now leaving the floor to Amy for her presentation. So enjoy and see you later.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I know we were originally supposed to be joined by Jessica, one of my colleagues who works in our Humanitarian and Conflict Response Institute, but unfortunately she couldn't be here today, so I'm going to be presenting instead. So I'm just going to share my presentation. Okay. So let's get that in full screen. Perfect. So welcome to the Humanitarian and Conflict Response Institute at the University of Manchester. So what is the Humanitarian and Conflict Response Institute? We call it HCRI for short, because it's quite a mouthful saying the full title sometimes. So HCRI was founded in 2008, and it was founded in response to a demand for a centre of excellence in research into humanitarian action, but also looking at disaster management as well. So we bring together academics, practitioners, and policymakers to help make improvements in the sector. We have many collaborations. Some of our big ones include Save the Children, Red Cross, Mines Advisory Group, which is a group that works with communities who have unexploded landmines and small arms within their countries. The Tata Institute of Social Sciences and Project Trust. Project Trust is a volunteering charity for young people. Our community at HCRI includes social scientists, that's people looking at psychology, sociology, anthropology, medical students, so that could be nurses, doctors, midwives, historians and professionals from a range of backgrounds, including charity sector, government, NGOs. We have lots of students who come to us already working within the humanitarian sector, and they come from a variety of job backgrounds. So what can you study at the Conflict Response Institute? So we've got several taught programs available at postgraduate level. So taught programs are more on the taught side of things, whereas research programs focus more on research and independent study. So we have global health, humanitarianism and conflict response, international disaster management, Humanitarian Practice, and International Disaster Management and Humanitarian Response. So each one of our courses, as part of the postgraduate tour selection, has its own unique qualities, and certain courses might be more tailored towards people, for example, who come from a medical background with global health, and then others, such as humanitarian practice, might be more suitable for those looking to get into management, project management roles within the humanitarian field. So I'm going to have a quick run through of the courses, and we're going to start with global health. So global health is a course on its own, but we also have 3 specialist pathways depending on where your interests lie or where your current career is. So we've got emergency medical response, disaster management, and humanitarian response. So you don't have to decide your pathway at the point of application. You can actually decide your pathway once you've started your course. So it might be that you start and you think, actually, I want to go down and specialize in disaster management. So once you've started your course, you can speak to your tutors and make adjustments to go down that path. Once you graduate, your degree certificate, if you choose a pathway, will have the pathway included on your degree certificate. If you choose just to stick with global health with no specialist pathway, your degree title will be global health. So for the MSc, the duration is 3 years, but there are 2 other possible exit awards. So if you complete 2 years of the course, you will be rewarded with a PG DIP or postgraduate diploma. Or if you do 1 year of the course, you'll be awarded a postgraduate certificate or a PG cert. There are both September and January starts available for this course. It's very interdisciplinary. We bring together humanitarianism, disaster, and medical studies into our modules. So you get a little bit of everything, really. And with the optional modules, you can really tailor this course to your area of interest or expertise. You'll benefit from insights from Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders as well, because they are content collaborators on the course, so they helped to build this course. The international fees for this course are £9,333 a year, and entry is a lower second class bachelor's degree or the overseas equivalent, and we do also have English language qualifications. You can find out more about those on the university website, because it might be they are specific to your country. With the global health as well, we'll say it is all distance learning and it is part-time. So you'll complete the course in a part-time period, which if you are currently in employment will give you ample time to complete your studies alongside carrying out your work needs as well. So here is a little list of the modules. These are potentially subject to change, but as they stand, these are the ones available to you. So the first set, as you can see, are mandatory. So these are modules that you will have to take as part of your course. So you'll study 4 course units in year 1 and 2, and it'll be 8 weeks of teaching followed by 1 week of assessment. And in your final year, so in your 3rd year, if you choose to go on to the MSc, that will be your dissertation. Students can also choose 3 additional 15 credit units from the list to graduate with the pathway specialism. The optional units do all need to be from the same pathway though, and the dissertation also needs to be linked to your chosen specialist pathway as well to come out with that. You will receive 60 credits for the completion of each year of the course, giving you 180 credits for the MSc award. So this section at the bottom only applies if you are carrying on to do the MSc. So talk a little bit about the teaching. So as I said, it is distance learning, so it is all online. So we have designed this in a way that it recreates classroom learning, but on an online format. So you'll be able to engage fully with the course content and also your fellow students. So that could be through recorded lectures, discussion boards, group work. We have online chats, and you can have chat sessions with your tutor, and also you'll get peer-to-peer feedback on your assessment as part of this. So all assessments will be online. All units will have a selection of assessments, which could be multiple choice tests, essays, or group assignments. They're just like some examples of the way that you'll be assessed. And all units will include an academic contribution towards discussion forums, and that will be 10%. So as a student, you'll be expected to contribute a weekly academic piece. So the question will be raised to you by your tutor on the module that you're studying at that time, and you'll be expected to provide a written piece to the online discussion board as part of that. And we've got a lovely little quote here from one of our MSc Global Health graduates. If you want to have a little bit of read of that, she was really impressed with her tutors and the feedback she got, and also the fact that as a global health course, we are very global. We have students from all over the world attending our classes. So now we chat a little bit about humanitarianism and conflict response. So a little bit different to global health. So we do have full-time and part-time study options. However, this is an on-campus course. So you'll have the chance to engage with people and projects that shape humanitarian, global health, disaster management, and conflict response. You'll gain analytical skills to understand the field of humanitarianism and conflict response. And there's also the potential to take a research trip with one of your optional modules as well, but that will be dependent on which modules you choose to take. It should be stated that this is not a vocational degree. It is a degree more on the theoretical analytical side of understanding conflict response and humanitarianism. So full-time fees for international students are £29,250 a year. And the part-time fee per year is £14,625. Same as global health, the entry requirement is a lower second-class bachelor's degree or the overseas equivalent. Again, you can find your country-specific information on the University of Manchester website. So there are lots of modules that you can look at within the MA here. So a lot more optional modules than the global health one. But it really depends on like where you're looking to specialize. There might be certain modules here that appeal to you over the global health one. And if you were looking to have a more on-campus experience, this potentially could be a better fit for you. So as part of the course, you'll take units totaling 180 credits for the total MA, and you will take core and optional units that will combine to make an 120. So your mandatory units are listed. So they're all 15, and you'll have your 30 credits from your 2 mandatory modules. Your 60 credits will be allocated to the dissertation, and then remaining credits will come from your optional modules. We will be sending this presentation around as well afterwards, so you can all have a closer look at the module options. Talk a little bit about teaching on this course. So you'll be taught through a variety of teaching methods. So these will most likely be lectures, tutorials, and of course, independent study. You'll take part in 2-hour lectures and seminars each week per module, as well as undertaking independent research and reading, which is vital for any postgraduate degree. There's a lot more independent reading and research done on these courses compared to undergraduate courses. There's potential to take part in simulations, public talks and field trips. So we do have simulation sessions whereby one of our academics will recreate digitally a natural disaster, and you can see how that would be modelled, and you can manipulate the simulation and interact with it to see how in the real world, if you were planning, what would be the outcome of that disaster with your planning put in place. We also run workshops on academic skills, and every student is assigned an academic advisor. There's lots of support available. So if you are looking to take this course, you might have potentially been out of education for a while, we do have the support here to help you with those academic skills. You'll be assessed through lots of different methods, including written assignments, oral presentations, and thematic maps. Again, it's dependent on the modules that you decide to take on how you'll be assessed. Got another lovely little quote here from Lucy. She was one of our MA students on the course. She was really impressed by the speakers series, whereby we had guests coming in to give talks to students. And she decided that, yeah, it's a bit of a challenging career, but it can also be a very rewarding one, which I definitely agree with in the humanitarianism sector. So talk a little bit about international disaster management now. So this is an MSc degree, so it's a Master of Science degree. And it is an academic programme again, and it's focused on critical thinking, research and analytical skills, similar to humanitarianism, but this is more focusing on disaster management rather than humanitarianism side. So you'll be, again, it's very interdisciplinary. So you'll be learning from methods in geography, history, politics, development, arts, and medicine. So you'll be pulling from lots of different areas as part of your study. There are full-time and part-time study options again. And this course would be suitable for people who are looking to develop into potentially a career role in disaster risk reduction, but it can also work for somebody to continue their education if they're already working within disaster risk reduction or disaster management. The full-time fee for international students is $29,250, and the part-time fee per year is $14,250 for this course. Again, it's the same entry requirements as the previous. Again, lots of optional modules here for you to choose from. It's the exact same setup as the MA. So you'll take modules totaling 180 credits, 60 of those allocated to the dissertation. The rest is made up for your mandatory and your optional modules. Again, all modules on this course, apart from the dissertation, are 15 credits. Lots to choose from. Again, like very, very interdisciplinary. So we've got modules in democracy, ethics, human rights, economics, peace and conflict, humanitarianism, the history of humanitarian aid. Like there's a lot of different strings to pull on here. Like there's a lot of different ways that you can interact with this course and really build it and tailor it to your interests. Teaching is face-to-face and it will be on campus at the university. So it will be lecturers, but it will also be through discussion boards and other e-learning elements as well. You'll be able to develop your skills to critically analyse and apply key concepts in disaster management. So these are the kind of skills that if you were looking to go into, for example, working in local government, looking at policy development around disaster prevention, these are the kind of skills that those types of employers would be looking for. They need to understand that you know your disaster theory, they know that your research skills at a high level and know that you can understand how to apply policy in real life situations. And this course can definitely help if you're looking to go down that path. Got a little quote here from Vincent. He was actually came to us already in a career and was looking to extend his knowledge and learning in disaster management because he already works there. This definitely for him was like more of a, you know, getting the most up-to-date information and education on the topics, and he felt that it really did help in his role as a senior regional analyst. So Humanitarian Practice. So you can choose to take this as a full master's degree, a full MSc, a postgraduate diploma, or a PG cert. So it can be taken between 2 and 5 years part-time study with blended learning or full-time on campus. So if you were to choose a blended learning option, you would be doing that with 2 weeks on campus learning per year, and then the rest of the study will be done distance learning. If you chose to do it full-time, you would need to be on campus. So there's not a full-time blended learning option, it's only part-time. And January start is available if you were looking at the blended learning option for this course. If you are looking at full-time on campus, it would be a September start. So you'll benefit from our partnership with the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine and also Doctors Without Borders. And it's designed to strengthen your leadership skills and to help you grow into a management or coordinator position within humanitarian organisations. So you'd be looking at roles potentially within charities and NGOs, potentially working as a project manager, potentially working on the ground as a coordinator as well. So, for example, if you were wanting to work with refugees or an area that had currently suffered from a disaster and you were on the ground as part of humanitarian aid, you could potentially, with learning from this degree, go into a career whereby you are coordinating other aid workers in the most effective way to bring humanitarian aid to that area. Fees for this course for international students are £28,500 a year, and the part-time fees are TBC. You will need to have a check back on our course profile for the part-time fees. Entry requirements are again exactly the same as previously. Modules here are more swayed towards obviously humanitarian practice, but also looking at management and leadership skills as well. So exactly the same setup. To complete the postgraduate certificate, you need to complete your 60 credits within 24 months, and to complete your PG DIP, you need to complete your 120 credits within 36 months. Again, variety of optional modules for you to choose from. So we've got history in there, lots of health related optional modules, got health systems, got disaster preparedness, management and leadership in health and humanitarianism. That's an optional module that would be very strong for somebody wanting to get into those project management positions and management positions. And teaching on this course, it's a combination. So it's delivered by both the University of Manchester and the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. So teaching methods are, again, lectures, tutorials, skills workshops, group presentations and discussions, paired and individual case study analysis, assignment and work-based projects, and you'll also be meeting with mentors and writing reflective reports. Assessment methods can include written assessments, exams, presentations, group projects, and tutorial discussion with participation in online activities as well. So if you are doing the blended approach, your 2 weeks that you spend on campus, you will be involved with the students who are doing the full-time on-campus course as well. So you will get to meet face-to-face with some of your fellow students. Got a quote here. Program has deeply widened my view and insight. I think this is a really nice quote. I think sometimes we don't think about looking at the critical approaches to management, especially in more of like a humanitarian setting. And courses like this can make you think about like the history of humanitarianism and how it can help you progress to become a better future leader in the field as well. And that's something that Seong, who is also came to us from a professional background, says in their quote. So Our next degree we're going to talk about is the MSc in International Disaster Management and Humanitarian Response. So this course, similar to the Global Health, is a part-time distance learning course. So this is taught completely online, and it also has January and September intakes. So you'll be developing your skills and knowledge required to respond quickly to disasters, but to also prevent them from occurring. So a lot of that will be looking at how previous disasters were handled, what was positive, what was negative, how could they be done better, what could we do differently in the future to prevent a disaster from causing as much destruction as it might have done previously. Course has been designed to equip you with knowledge and also continue your development in disaster risk management and humanitarianism. So you'll be looking at theoretical and practical analysis to support and add action into global health contexts. The part-time distance learning fee is £9,330 for this course per year. And it is, again, the same entry requirements. Got a list of modules. Again, there's some similar modules in here to some of the previous courses. Disaster preparedness, critical approaches to management of humanitarian operations, cash market-based programming, crisis settings. They're all really interesting topics if you are looking at going into disaster management. This one, slightly different to the previous international disaster management course we talked about, has the humanitarian response element with it. So as well as having your modules in disaster and risk, you've also got the option to have your modules within humanitarianism as well. And again, it's the same as the other courses. Your credits will total 180, and with your 60 credits allocated to your dissertation, and the rest will be made up from your mandatory and your optional modules. So this course is delivered online, and it's delivered through streamed lectures, discussion boards, and we also have some other e-learning tools as well. Each course unit will outline the readings and points for discussion. This will help focus your studies while you're in the discussion boards. It will help to give you discussion points like while you're speaking to your peers and your tutors. And course units are going to be assessed by written assessments for this particular degree. So I'm going to talk a little bit about careers. So there's so many possibilities for graduates from our programs. So got a few examples of some alumni destinations. We've got the UN, we've got Minds Advisory Group, Christians Against Poverty. We have a lot of people who go into local government and civil service. We have people who go on to work for charities like Doctors Without Borders, and we also have people who go on to complete their PhD as well, so they go more into the research side of HRI. Within these destinations, there are several posts that people take up. So we have people who look at it from more of a like media point of view. We have people who look at it from more of a medical point of view. So those people who might come and take global health with us, who come from a medical background, then go on to work with companies like Doctors Without Borders, but in a more management, like logistical position than if they would have just gone in straight with their medical degree. When we have people working in local government, a lot of that tends to be around policy and research into how we can better shape our policies to help with humanitarianism. Working with the UN, very similar research policy. We do have a careers guide, which is specific for the Institute. So it's to help you decide which course would be best for you to study based on what you want your career outcome to be once you've completed your studies. We also have events that HCR organise each year to help students connect with employers. So we have people like Doctors Without Borders, Oxfam, some people from local government. They all come in, they have the table set up, and you can go up and chat to them, ask about what they look for, and start to think about building your own journey. It's a great way to build networks as well by speaking to these people. So the link within this presentation is a live link as well. So once you send that on, you can click on the careers guide just here, and you can download the guide for yourself, fill it all in, and hopefully that will help you to make a decision on what the right path is for you. So just come to the end of my presentation now. So have we got any questions? I've also put my email down in case you don't want to ask questions on the chat and you'd rather email me personally. We've also got our HCRI website down there as well, where you can learn a little bit more about the institution and also have a look at the profiles of our academics we have working at the institution as well.
Okay, great. Hello again, and thank you so much, Amy, for your presentation. I think it was really interesting and full of information. I see here that we have some questions for the students. Again, I would like to remind you that you still have time to ask questions to Amy. You can write in the Q&A box and we will answer. Okay, so go straight to the first one. Are there any full scholarship for the masterclass?
So our scholarships haven't been announced yet. So we have had scholarships in previous years, which I can send a link to give you some examples. So ones for 2025 entry haven't been announced yet.
Okay, great.
I will share a little link in the chat so everybody can have a look at our previous funding options that could potentially be available next year, but I can't say for certain, unfortunately.
Fantastic, thank you. And another question is, the programs are all on campus, or there are any online courses?
Yeah, so we have 2 courses that are completely online. And that is the global health and the international disaster management, and just the international disaster management and the global health. They're the 2 that are completely part-time and online.
Great, thank you. Another student asks, hello, I'm a PhD doctor with a degree in political science from Pakistan, along with 15 years of professional experience in humanitarian context, particularly in conflict management, emergency response, and human rights. Are there any postdoctorate or work opportunity for me?
So what I'll do, Neelam, I will send you my email address and you can email me a bit more information and I'll pass you on to my colleague that deals with our postdoctoral.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think it would be really helpful. Another question is, what specific skills will I gain from the Masters in Humanitarian and Conflict Response?
So the specific skills that you gain are definitely critical thought, analytical skills. So you can critically analyze. So, for example, if you were looking to work in policy, so you can look at a policy and understand how to critically analyze that and understand how you can make improvements and changes on that based on your knowledge that you've learned from your course. Our academics are super knowledgeable, they keep up to date. All of them are conducting their own research as well. So yeah, and also you get the leadership side of things as well. You also get to learn about the history of humanitarianism, so you can see where it's come from, how far we've got, and what the improvements upon that are as well. With disaster management as well, you can look at, again, similar to humanitarianism, how disasters have been handled previously and how we can model that to be better, and also like looking at the niche elements of disaster management within different countries, because how a country handles a disaster and the outcome of that will depend a lot on where it's situated, what's going on in the country at the moment with government, conflict, economy. All of that plays into a bigger picture. So you'll get a deeper understanding of that and the context behind that to help you become a more rounded humanitarianism leader or risk manager.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so the next one is from Maria Pia that asks, how does the University of Manchester's program stand out compared to similar programs at other universities?
So I'd say what makes us stand out is the fact that, I mean, we were founded in 2008, so we've been going for a really long time. And in that time, we've built up some really strong partnerships. There was several that I listed as part of my presentation. So we've got Save the Children, got the partnership with Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders. Like, these are all very strong connections and networks that our academics have. So I'd say that's one like great selling point. Another great selling point is also the community as well. Our students are very passionate, very, very, very passionate about the field that they work in, about their courses, about their studies. And I think that really, really, you know, makes us, I mean, could I say it makes us unique? I'd say it makes it a really great place to study, and specifically to study HCRI. The students are fantastic, real community.
Fantastic, thank you. And can students participate in a real-world crisis simulations or field work as part of the curriculum?
Yeah, so certain modules will have fieldwork as part of them. It just depends on your course that you decide to choose and your modules that you decide to choose as well. And we do have simulations that our postgraduate students can take part in, where it's digital simulations that we can adjust to be as a real world live example.
Okay, and the next question is, what are the career prospects after completing a master's in humanitarianism and conflict response?
So, I mean, the career options are just kind of like endless, really. A lot of our students choose to go into charity, NGO, and like policy and government. So, working with the UN, working in local government, um, makes sense when you connect it to those areas. But like I said, we've got people who've gone on to work in like HR, people who've gone on to work in media, people who've gone on to like work on the ground in disaster situations and humanitarianism situations as well. We've got people working in a medical field, in a medical setting as well, who've come from medical backgrounds onto our course to understand more about humanitarianism. So that can feed into their role that they had with Doctors Without Borders.
Fantastic. And what support is available for students moving to Manchester from overseas?
Um, so there is lots of support for our international students. So we are a big international community at Manchester. We're very global. We have students from all over the world. So we have societies that are dedicated to different countries. So you can meet people either from your home country who are also studying at Manchester, or you can meet people from like new countries who are studying at Manchester as well. Um, International students are given support in other ways as well. So we have an international office who have dedicated country officers and managers who can support you as well with any questions that you might have about moving, the visa process, accommodation, and they can really help with stuff like that. So we do have a dedicated international page on the university website. Um, I can send a link to that.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Yeah, and of course, I would like to remind to all the students that for any kind of information, any questions, you will receive an email in the next few days where you will find the recording of this webinar so that you can rewatch all the webinar and the slides and all the presentation. The presentation itself with all the details, and also, of course, the email contact of the university and the point of reference for you from the university. So if you have any questions, any curiosities, you can write directly to them and you will receive promptly answers. Okay, so next question is, are there any requirements to apply?
yeah, so the requirements that we have are a 2-1 bachelor's degree or the overseas equivalent. So on the link that I've sent to our international page on the university website, you can also find country specific information on there. So if you scroll to the bottom, it's got a section that will give you a link out and you can choose your country and it will give you what the equivalent is to the UK 2-1 bachelor's degree in your country. It'll also give you information about English language requirements as well. Each course has its own unique English language requirements, so it is worth having a look on their individual course profiles as well for those. So they're the main entry requirements.
Fantastic, thank you so much. And do you have a PhD in disaster management and humanitarian aspects?
I've just found that question. So potentially, research is not my area of expertise. So what I'll do is I will type my email to you and you can send me all your information that you need to, and I will pass it on to my colleague who works with doctoral degrees.
Yeah, we had a previous question about the PhD. So if you would like to receive any other information, you can write to the email and you will be redirected to the point of reference for the doctor. Okay, so another one is, are there guest lectures or seminars by industry experts throughout the program?
Yeah, there's definitely guest lectures that we have coming in to give talks and seminars throughout the program. These will vary depending on obviously people's availability, but yeah, we do have guest talks.
Fantastic, thank you. And how closely does the program work with NGOs or government agency in the field?
So our academics have close networks and connections with NGOs, charities. There are a few of them named in the presentation. So these types, so for example, with our careers fairs, the NGOs that we have connections with, charities that we have connections with, will come to our careers fair to speak to students about how they can get into a career in humanitarianism, what they look for in candidates and things like that. But they also might come in and do guest lectures and be guest speakers as well. Again, depends on availability, but our academics have those connections and networks available.
Thank you. Okay, I see another question about the PhD. So again, the answer is the same. You can write to the email and ask your questions about the PhD programs. I also see a question from Fatma Mohammed that asks, I am a student in political science faculty in Cairo. Can I apply to some of the masters?
So that will depend on if you meet the entry requirements or not. So it's best to go onto your country information on the website, have a look at what the equivalent is for your country at a master's level, and also have a look at the English language requirements as well. If you already meet or believe that you're going to meet those requirements, then definitely apply.
Thank you. And are there any students community?
Yeah, there's lots of student communities. So we have a really active HRI society. Again, our students are super, super, super passionate. I speak to our students from time to time, and the one thing that comes across with HRI students in particular is their passion and their sense of community. Yeah, there's a real feeling of like everybody wants to make the world better. Like that's why they're here, that's why they're studying HRI. They want to make a difference to the world, so that fosters a really nice environment and fosters like a really good community among students. There's also the Students' Union that's part of the university as well, which has lots of societies, both sport and academic societies. There's also like more arts-based societies as well that you can join in, which are their own communities in themselves. Some of the societies are super, super active. So yeah, there's the opportunity to join those as well.
Great. Thank you. And how can you help someone who doesn't meet the selection criteria, but the person has the passion in humanitarian?
So for certain courses, if you are currently working in the field of humanitarianism or disaster management, risk management, depending on your level of experience, you can still apply. It will be dependent on the admissions tutor accepting you on that basis. But first and foremost, like we do ask for the academic qualifications, but it is a possibility if you have that work experience.
Fantastic, thank you. And the next question is, what is the balance between theoretical study and practical application in coursework?
Um, I feel like I'm because I'm not an academic myself. I don't
Yeah,
actually
of
teach in the
course.
course. Like that's quite a difficult question for me to answer. Um, Happy for you to email me though, and I can like pass your question on to one of our academics.
And do you know how accessible are faculty members for mentoring and guidance throughout the program?
Yeah, so you will be assigned a tutor when you start, and you'll be able to email them, visit them during their office hours if you've got any questions, not just about your studies, but also if there's anything that you need to speak to them about your well-being, for example, as well. You can reach out to them for things like that as well. But yeah, they have all of our academics have office hours, which they tend to have them in their email signatures. They'll have them on the doors. They'll tell you about them when you start. And generally, in those office hours, you can arrange to go and visit them and have a chat or over email. Academics are very responsive and do generally get back to our students quite quickly because like they're very invested in our students' studies and our students' welfare as well.
Yeah, thank you. And okay, what networking opportunities are available with alumni working in the humanitarian field?
Um, so I get like the biggest one is probably like our careers fair. So it happens. The HRI careers fair happens every February, and that is the best chance for you to go and network with alum because we do have alumni attending as well. That is the best opportunity to network. It could be that alumni potentially come in and give guest talks as well. Um, Again, a lot of this depends on people's availability. Because obviously we appreciate that people have got jobs and they're busy, but because our students are really passionate and our alumni are passionate as well, it could be that you have an alumni coming in and potentially giving a guest talk or appearing at one of the careers fairs. Our alumni are usually like quite engaged with us. There's quite a few nice alumni stories in the careers guide as well. So I definitely suggest downloading that and like having a read through those to see like how the course helps them to develop. There's like several in there for all of the postgraduate programs.
Yeah, okay. And the last question is if you can share your email in the chat so that everyone can write for any information
Yeah.
or an email contact that you prefer the students would have to make them questions. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So I don't see any other questions in the chat. No, maybe there is another one. I'm just copying the email contact for the students. Okay. Okay. No, I don't see any other email in the chat. So thank you so much to all of you for participating and for making so many questions. I would like to remind you again that you will receive an email with all the information, with the presentation that include an email contact and include so many useful information for you about the courses, about deadlines. So you will have all the information, and also you can see and rewatch the recording of this webinar. And I would also like to share with you the link to the certificate of attendance. And you can click on the link that I'm share with you in the chat right now and request it. So before we say goodbye, Amy, do you want to share a message to the students before?
Yeah. Thank you for joining me today. I know there was probably some people who might have been a bit disappointed that it wasn't Jessica, but got me instead. I hope I did a good job. Yeah, and hopefully I'll see some of you applying potentially on campus next September. Fingers crossed. Yeah, if you need to ask any questions or would like to know anything else, please feel free to email the address that Carolina's posted in the chat. That's my personal email. So I'll get back to you with answers. And if your questions need passing on to somebody in a different department, I can pass those on as well and get that information back for you.
Fantastic. So thanks again to Amy and to everyone connected with us today. Of course, I hope to see you again in the next webinar organized by DocCity in partnership with University of Manchester that will be in the next year. And during this webinar, we will talk more deeply about all the insights of the university, of the different courses, the career perspectives. So we suggest you to join us, of course. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much and have a nice rest of the day.